Welcome to Crash Course on Vital Free Wavetable Synthesizer. And I'm not going to show everything, I'm not going to explain everything, but hopefully by the end of this video, you will understand how things work and you will be able to follow other tutorials or sound design step by step. And you'll see the benefits and how fun it is to use this synthesizer to create your own sounds. Let's start at the top. We have three oscillators, oscillator 1, oscillator 2, oscillator 3, and we also have a sampler. But for now, let's close everything and keep oscillator 1. Right here in the middle, this is your wave shape or wavetable, and let's play something. Now, if at any moment you want to go back to this init preset, you can right-click on the top here at the preset browser and select Initialize Preset. Now, you can go right or left and select different wave shapes. Each one will sound different. And you can click this top title, and now you have a choice of different wave shapes or wave tables. Let's select something, for example, 3 graces. Now this doesn't look much, but you can see that we have 2D right here. If you click this, you'll go into 3D. And the slider on the right side is your index. We are scanning through a list of wave shapes. This is a wave table. So let's play something like a simple chord. And later we'll see how we can automate this and get some very interesting sounds. But if you'll click this again, you'll get a spectral view of the wave shapes. Let's try another one. For each of the oscillators, you'll see that you have level and panning. Double click will get you back to the default position. Now, on the left side here, you'll have the semitones transposition, and you can go down to -48 semitones or up 48 semitones. And we also have in sense. So you can tune this to any type. So you can tune this. So you can tune the oscillator. So you can tune the oscillator to whatever pitch you like. Double click, back to your default position. Now on the right side, we have two interesting devices. We have unison and phase. Let's start with the unison. Right now we're playing one voice. But we can increase the number of voices. Let's go with 7. And we have their detuning spread. And of course, as you go up, the detuning will increase. And you can go up to 16 voices. But notice that this will have its impact on your CPU consumption. Now with phase, you can change the phase of the wave shape. Have a look at the top right oscilloscope. The percentage will be for how much the phase change affect your wave shape. Next, we have two dials. The right one is our wave morphing, and the left one is harmonic morphing. So first, you need to select a mode. Let's go with formant, for example, and immediately you can see your wave shape changes. Now This can be very effective to find new sounds, or when you're modulating this, which we'll see in a moment, can create some movement and evolving sounds. The spectral morph will change the harmonic content of our wave shape. Let's select a mode. For example, we can go with smear. Let's try another one. And together with the phase, let's try something formant. Increase the number of voices. Envelopes are key component in any virtual instrument or synthesizer, and here we have 6 of them, but you can only see 3 at first. The other 3 will show up as you are using the first 3. So now, what exactly is an envelope? Envelope is a way for you to shape any parameter, anything in this synthesizer over time. The first envelope is hardwired to the overall sound contour. And right now, when we're playing anything, as I press the keyboard, sound will just jump to its maximum velocity. And when I lift my fingers from the keyboard, it will just stop. Right? If I'll pull this end right here, you'll see the release knob moving. You can do this either from here or from here. So the release is the amount of time that will take for the sound to fade away once you just lift your fingers from the keyboard or your MIDI note ends. On the other hand, attack will be how much time would it take for the sound to build up, to get to its maximum value, velocity. Decay and sustain are kind of connected. So sustain will be the velocity, the level of the sound as we keep playing the same note. So in this configuration, what would happen is that the sound will reach its maximum velocity right here, and it will keep playing at the same level as long as our fingers are on the keyboard. But we can create something like this. And it means that the sound will travel up, will increase in volume, and then drop to the sustained level. And then when we are lifting our fingers from the keyboard, it will fade away in the amount of time set by the release. The delay is just the amount of time to delay before the envelope actually starts to affect. So to sum up, if you want to create a very plucky sound, very fast sound, something like this. So we'll have no sustain, but some decay. And of course, this can sound much better when we're adding more sound from other sources, like let's say Oscillator 2, and we'll get something different here. For example, a sine wave, and we'll transpose it 12 semitones. And we can increase the unison here. And let's add some effects. I'm going with a reverb. So we'll talk about the effects in a moment, but just for the sake of interest, we'll enable the reverb, go back to voice page. But if we want to create sort of a pad sound that evolves slowly, we can do anything like this. Filters are very important for the overall sound. Here we have two filters, filter 1 and filter 2. Each of the sound sources, oscillator 1, 2, 3, and the sampler, can be routed to any of these two filters. Let's click this drop down here and you'll see that we have a choice. Filter 1, filter 2, filter 1 plus 2, effects, and direct out. So this will determine where the sound goes from this oscillator into filter 1 or maybe filter 2 and so on. Right now, let's keep it with filter 1. If you want to change the shape of this filter, what you can do is just use this slider and it will go from low pass to high pass and anything in between. We also have this little bump here. This is your resonance. This is a boost around the cutoff point. And if you just increase it, just click and drag up and then move the filter cutoff, you will get a very distinct sound. The menu on the top will give you lots of choices for different types of filters. So we have analog, we have dirty, we have ladder, which is the Moog type of filters, ladder filters. We have digital that are more clean and more accurate. Diodes, formant, for example, which is very interesting. It mimics like human vowels sound. Now, before we continue to anything else, let's see how we can use envelopes to modulate few things and create some interesting sounds. And in this case, if I want to modulate the spread, meaning automate this, what I can do is go to envelope 2, drag this little cross right here and drop it on the spread. Now you'll see this little circle right here and you'll see another circle right here. This means the amount, how much of this envelope is affecting the spread. And let's play something. So it's very, very fast. This is because the attack is controlling what we're doing. If we have a slower attack, you'll see that we are opening up the spread slower. And we can go even slower. If we want to have this envelope control the spread, but not so much, what we can do is just hover on top of this bagel, click and drag down. This will determine the amount of modulation applied by this envelope on top of the spread. Now we're back to the init preset. Let's use the envelope 1, on top of the cutoff of this low pass filter. So I'm going to drop it right here, and you can see the amount of modulation that is going to be applied on this cutoff point. It's very, very fast. In fact, it's maybe too fast. So I can use the attack control and make it slower. And we can set the starting point, the cutoff, to somewhere lower. Or we can do something else. We can have something very, very fast, something very flat, plucky. Something else that we can do, by the way, is use the key tracking to control how the filter opens up in relation to a keyboard. Let's go back to the init preset to see this. So right now, when we're playing anything, filter is static. But I can go with the key track all the way to the right. And as I play lower notes, I'm going to the left, closing. But as I'll go to the right, higher notes will open up this filter. So there will be some relationship between whatever notes I'm playing and how the filter is reacting and especially with the cutoff. So where will be the cutoff in relation to the keyboard. Another very common modulator is the LFO, low frequency modulator, which we can use to create evolving sounds and manipulate different parameters in this synthesizer. So to show you how this works, I'm going to drag this on top again of the filter cutoff. And now what will happen is that this filter will automatically open and close in the rate that is set by the tempo in the LFO. And this can be faster or slower. And there are different trigger modes that can be envelope, for example. So this means that the LFO will be very similar to how would an envelope work. Now the tempo can be synced to our project BPM. This is what we have right now, but I can do this in seconds. Or maybe tempo, which is dotted triplets or key tracked. Another important feature of this LFO is the delay, which means that the LFO will not start immediately. And this can be very interesting when used in a long release. Round 1 and round 2 are randomizers. We can use them in many ways, but maybe we'll do something simple. I'm going to drag this on top of the transpose. And now I'm going to set this to sample and hold. And let's play something. And we can have this also affect our cutoff. But Vital is not only a wavetable synthesizer, it has also a sampler. So let's turn it on. And here, by default, you have white noise. But you can change this to any of the factory sounds that we have. Let's close Oscillator 1. And you can import your own samples. So for example, I have my own samples right here, Odyssey samples. We can load something. And you can combine that with sounds from the oscillators. In the effects page, we can find different effects and we can turn them on from top to bottom. So let's start with chorus. Or maybe add a compressor to get some punch. And for each of those, you'll find a mix knob. So you can set how much of that effect is actually working on your sound. And we can add a reverb. Get a bit of time and size. And you can rearrange them in any order. In the matrix page, you can see all the modulations that were applied across the synthesizer. You can see the source, you can see their polarity, stereo, morphing, amount, and of course, the destination. Let's do a simple example. I'm going to modulate filter 1 with envelope 1. I'm going to drag, drop it on the cutoff, and have a listen. If we'll go into the matrix, you can see exactly that. We'll have the source envelope 1 affecting the destination filter 1 cutoff, and we see the amount. And even the direction. Of course, we can control it from the voice page, and you'll see this little bagel here, and you can do that right here. So that was a crash course on Vital. I really hope you enjoyed this. And of course, we didn't cover everything, but this is the basics. From here, you can start creating your own sounds or maybe follow other tutorials which are more advanced.